The Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy is definitely a unique case in gaming. Most remakes simply take one or two routes: updating the graphics and leaving everything else alone, or completely reimagining the story, characters, and gameplay, only leaving certain core elements of the series intact. However, Final Fantasy VII Remake does something very unique. It combines the ideal of sequel and remake into one. Now, I won't spoil this for you if you haven't played the first game. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I would recommend playing the first part of the remake and then reading some articles on the matter. There's a really good one from DualShockers that I'll link in the description. And the knowledge of Final Fantasy VII Remake being both a remake and a sequel makes the question that I'm about to ask even more interesting. Will Aerith be saved? Now, if this were just a straight up faithful remake of Final Fantasy VII, I would say of course not. As much as we love Aerith as a character, saving her would strip the game of so much emotional value, the remake almost wouldn't be worth it anymore, at least in my opinion. But the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy is very clearly not just a straight up remake. You see, the theory goes something like this. Sometime after Aerith's death, she was able to travel back in time, and is now reliving past events while also being aware of the original timeline. And she is using this knowledge to try and change the timeline for the better. There is also evidence to suggest that this is also the case for Sephiroth, although obviously he is trying to change the timeline in a much different way than Aerith is. We learned in the first game that changing the timeline is possible. After all, it's fairly obvious from the game's ending and now the trailers for Rebirth that Zack is somehow still alive after the events of Crisis Core. How that will affect the story going forward is anyone's guess, but if Zack can be saved, we have to ask the question, can the same happen for Aerith? And in the context of this remake storyline, I see this as the best route for them to go. In fact, if they don't save Aerith, I would have to ask why they even went this route in the first place. The whole route they're taking with this remake trilogy storyline screams the theme second chance. Cloud and the gang are being given a second chance at creating a better destiny for themselves. And if creating that better destiny didn't involve stopping one of the worst tragedies in the entire game, then what would be the point of that theme? If saving Aerith were done in a straight up remake, then I think it would kill the game's emotional value. But I think done in the context of a remake / sequel like this would actually add to that emotional value. Imagine the reaction from fans after knowing that Aerith has been gone for well over 2 decades, and now suddenly, thanks to an act of defying fate, she's back again, like she never died in the first place. In my opinion, that would be such a high payoff after the long wait of a continuation of this remake story. There's actually a strong theory that a scene in Final Fantasy VII Remake's finale foreshadows this possibility. While a remake of the Forgotten City theme plays in the background, Sephiroth ominously tells Cloud, 7 seconds until the end. This is significant because in the original game, it takes exactly 7 seconds for Sephiroth to appear and then kill Aerith in the scene where Aerith dies. Now yes, I know the game's description tells us that he's talking about 7 seconds before the planet's demise, but I'm sorry, that coincidence is just a little bit too strong for me to completely write off. Personally, I do believe there is a dual meaning behind what Sephiroth is saying there. Of course, if we do save Aerith, we then have to wonder where the game will go from there. Will another character die in Aerith's place? Will saving Aerith lead to dire consequences of some sort? Or is this a resolution-based remake in which all of our party members can finally reach a happy ending? No matter how you slice it, with this remake trilogy, Square has the opportunity to surprise us in ways they never have before, and I truly hope they seize on that opportunity as hard as they possibly can. But I want to know what you think. Did you enjoy the first part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake? Are you excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? And do you think Aerith will be saved? Let me know in the comments and give me a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.